The sound here has been recorded on the tape magnetically. But mind you, this stereophonic tape player is not just ordinary hi-fi.
It isn't?
No, sir.
This is a square wave.
Square wave.
And this is white noise.
White noise.
I remember Paddy Kingston being interviewed by Spanish television, and they said, how do you go about creating a new tune? And there was a long pause, and he looked around the room, and he looked back at the camera, and he said, with a great deal of difficulty. That we were dealing with government surplus radio equipment, laboratory equipment, tape recorders that didn't run at exactly the right speed, some of which are now antiques. I mean, they would have been long consigned to the scrap heap. The workshop was started with a couple of £1,000, most of which they spent on a third octave filter, which was very rare in those days, very expensive. And the rest of it was old studio equipment that had been consigned to a place they called redundant stores. It was a bit like an elephant's graveyard. It's the last resting place before they turn up with the rubbish van and dump it. Well, collaborations with Delia tended to be, if it sounded musical, Delia would lead it, and I'd just be hanging around the background, sort of filling in, maybe creating sounds for her. If it was theatre-based, very often I would lead it, and if there was within, like the Medea, the chorus have a dance, she created the dance for the chorus. And I did all of the sound effects for Medea and the story as she kills her children and then she rides off in a chariot. And it's the first time I'd ever tried putting quadraphonic sound in a theatre, in the Greenwich Theatre. And Paddy Kingston was helping me on that one. And we did a front-back and a left-right thing on two stereo tape recorders and just played them in sync. It did sound wonderful, especially in the theatre. So I wouldn't say it was it was a collaboration of sorts, but physically, I made all the sounds for the Medea and put them together, and she made all the sounds for the dance and put those together, and then it's two combined. But it wasn't like playing duets. It was, I would assemble my part, she would assemble her part, and then the entire thing would be presented to the theatre as one piece.
We've called that piece Classic Continuum, and are planning to release the full version soon. It will be 25 minutes long, and it'll feature clips from all 7 of the classic Doctor's adventures.
Thank you, Peter Howell.
We specialised in misusing equipment. You're pushing it to its limits and then expecting it to go a little bit farther till it starts to break down, and you get all sorts of other things happen that you want to happen, but the inventors of the equipment had no idea that it had to happen. Delia was sort of saying, you start with a sound either in your head or a sound you can make, or just a happenstance sound that you're coming into on the tube. This happens, and you think, that would be quite interesting to see what happens if we take that sound and manipulate it.